Hello, this is one of my favorite books, History of the Art of War, Volume 1, Warfare and Antiquity by Hans Delbruck. And one of the great things about this book is that he quotes ancient authors and goes into great detail. You can see here's an excerpt. I believe it's from Livy. And it's all in Latin here, but here's the translation. So one of my favorite phrases is, it's come to the Triarii. And this is one of the sources where it talks about the derivation of that term. So I'm going to share it with you today and explain it. When the army had been drawn up in these ranks, the hastati were the first of all to go into battle. If they were not able to overcome the enemy, they fell back and let the principes or principes move into the breach, and then the fight became theirs. The hastati then followed them, and the Triarii took their positions under the banners, with their left legs extended, their shields strapped to their shoulders, their spears pushed into the ground and pointing upwards, just as if their battle line were strengthened by a bristling palisade. If the principes were also losing the fight, they fell back slowly from the battle line to the Triarii. From this fact came the saying, to have come to the Triarii, used when things were going badly. So basically, when you say it's come to the Triarii, that means it's the last resort. Now, the Triarii were apparently veterans, and there were less of them. And say this is the front of the battle, facing the enemy. This is the first line. This would represent the hastati. This would represent the principes, and this would represent the Triarii. So presumably, this first line of warriors, the youngest warriors, would go into battle first. If they were fatigued, or if there was a large number of them hurt or killed, then the principe would switch places with them. Now, there's much conjecture as to how this was actually done in battle. There's a very conventional form to the Roman battle lines that is often talked about, which is the checkerboard pattern. And even though that is used, and you've seen it a lot in movies, it doesn't really make sense in battle, and that's also discussed in this book by Delbruck. He says, it doesn't make sense to have these gaps in the line where the enemy could infiltrate. Certainly that was either a parade ground formation or a marching formation. But at any rate, you form a solid line with the hastati, and then the principes would either somehow filter through the line or simply replace the soldiers in that line. And then if the battle was going very badly and the enemy were advancing, eventually they would retreat behind the Triarii, and the Triarii were the grizzled veterans who would save the day, supposedly. So that's where the phrase comes from. That's how it's the best way that I can think to explain it. And it's a very colorful phrase, and of course if you use it with your friends who have no idea about Roman history, they will have no idea what you're talking about. You'll sound really smart. And for your friends who do know something, you'll sound even smarter, and especially now that you can explain it. Please share and like this video if it helps you, and I hope you enjoyed this. I look forward to any comments below.